It is a quiet Saturday morning. You have got your coffee in hand, the kind of morning where you might actually slow down for a few minutes instead of rushing somewhere. You decide to give the bathroom a good look over, the way you used to do every few weeks back when keeping up the house felt automatic. You pull back the shower curtain or slide open the door, and there it is. A ring of yellow sitting around the bathtub. Dull, stubborn, maybe deepening into something closer to brown near the drain. It was not there 6 months ago, or at least you did not notice it. Now you cannot look away. And here is the thing that catches most folks off guard. That yellowing is not just cosmetic. It is a signal the tub surface is under stress, and once you understand what is actually causing it, the whole problem becomes a lot more manageable than it looks on that Saturday morning. The question stops being, how do I get rid of this, and becomes, how do I keep it from coming back? Because with the right approach, it genuinely does not have to come back. If you want to go deeper on what we cover today, the full method, the ratios, the maintenance rhythm, there is an ebook in the description below that walks through it in much more detail. Take a look when you get a chance. Now, before I walk you through what actually works, I want to be honest with you about what does not. Because the cleaning aisle at any hardware store is full of products that promise to cut through years of buildup in minutes, and in my experience, most of them do one of two things. They either scratch the tub surface with abrasives that feel satisfying in the moment, but make the problem worse over time, or they use bleach in concentrations that mask the stain temporarily without touching the underlying cause. You scrub, you rinse, it looks better for a week or two, and then the yellow creeps right back. I have watched folks go through 4 or 5 bottles of those products over a summer and wind up right where they started. By the end of this video, you will know exactly why yellow stains form, which common approaches make things worse, and the core method, rooted in a cleaning tradition that has worked in Japanese homes for generations, that actually lifts the stain and keeps the surface healthier over time. Let us get into it. The first thing to understand is what that yellow actually is. Most folks assume it is plain old grime, and sometimes it is. But the yellow you are seeing in a bathtub is usually one of 3 things, and knowing which one you are dealing with changes the approach entirely. The most common cause is mineral buildup, especially in areas with hard water. Hard water carries calcium, magnesium, and sometimes iron in solution. Every time warm water sits in or splashes on the tub surface, those minerals are left behind as the water evaporates. Over months and years, they accumulate in layers, and depending on the mineral composition of your local water, the result ranges from a chalky white film to a deep yellow or orange-brown stain. If your stain has a faint reddish or rust-orange tinge to it, iron in the water is almost certainly part of the picture. Cities like Phoenix, Las Vegas, and Indianapolis consistently rank among the hardest water supplies in the United States, with hardness levels sometimes exceeding 300 parts per million, more than 6 times what is considered soft water. At those levels, visible mineral staining can appear in as little as 4 to 6 weeks on an unprotected tub surface. The second cause is soap scum bonding with those minerals. Bar soap contains fats and oils that combine with the calcium in hard water to form a sticky film. That film traps more minerals, more organic residue from skin and hair products, and the whole layer thickens over time. The result is the same, a yellowish coating that bonds tightly to the tub surface. The third cause, which tends to appear in older tubs, is surface degradation itself. Porcelain and acrylic both have a smooth, sealed top layer. When that layer gets scratched, the rough, microscopic surface grabs onto everything that touches it. If you have an older tub, you may be dealing with all 3 causes at once. Now, the myth I want to address first is the bleach myth. Bleach does not remove mineral deposits or soap scum. What bleach does is oxidize organic pigments. It whitens by destroying color molecules. So if your stain has an organic component, bleach might lighten it briefly, but the mineral base underneath is untouched. Within a few weeks, the staining returns, and repeated bleach exposure on acrylic or older enamel can dull and weaken the surface over time. The way I see it, reaching for bleach on a yellow bathtub stain is like painting over rust. It looks better for a little while, and then it is worse. The second myth is that scrubbing harder fixes it. Tub surfaces, especially acrylic and fiberglass, are softer than most folks realize. A green scrubbing pad or a powdered abrasive cleanser can leave microscopic scratches you cannot see with the naked eye. Those scratches accumulate into a dull, hazy look, and they make future staining significantly worse because the surface is no longer smooth. Gentle and consistent always beats hard and aggressive on a bathtub. So what does work? This is where the Japanese approach comes in, and I want to explain it properly, because it is not just a single product. It is a philosophy applied to a specific chemical reality. In traditional Japanese household cleaning, there has long been an understanding that different surfaces and different types of buildup require matched approaches. Hard mineral deposits are alkaline in nature, meaning they are chemically neutralized by acids. Soap scum, which contains both minerals and fats, responds to a combination of acid and mild surfactant. The Japanese cleaning tradition emphasizes using gentle, naturally derived acids, particularly citric acid, along with very fine, non-scratching mild abrasives applied with patience rather than force. This is not folk magic. It is basic chemistry that happens to align with what research into surface care has confirmed works best for enamel, porcelain, and acrylic alike. Citric acid is the key ingredient in the core method, and you may already have it in your kitchen. It is the natural acid found in lemons and other citrus, and it is widely available in powdered form in grocery stores, sometimes in the canning or baking section, sometimes near the natural cleaning supplies. A small bag typically costs only a few dollars and goes a long way. I keep it in my cleaning cabinet the same way I keep baking soda, just a staple. Here's how to make the paste. Take about 2 tablespoons of citric acid powder and mix it with just enough warm water to form a thick paste, roughly the consistency of toothpaste. If you want extra cutting power on heavier buildup, you can mix the citric acid with a small amount of dish soap instead of plain water. The dish soap adds a surfactant that helps lift the soap scum layer, while the citric acid works on the minerals underneath. Apply the paste directly to the stained areas of the tub, using a soft cloth or a sponge, not a scrubbing pad. Spread it generously and let it sit. This is the part most folks rush. For light staining, 15 to 20 minutes is usually enough. For heavier buildup that has been there a long time, give it 30 to 45 minutes. During that time, the acid is slowly dissolving the mineral bonds. When you come back, wipe it away with the same soft cloth using gentle circular motions. Then rinse thoroughly with warm water. The first time you do this on a badly yellowed tub, you may need to repeat the process 2 or 3 times over a few days to fully lift the stain. That is normal. Each pass loosens more of the mineral layer. Do not try to rush it all in one session by scrubbing harder. That is the mistake that damages the surface. Patience over force is the entire principle here. For staining with a noticeable rust or orange tinge, the citric acid method is still your starting point because iron deposits are acidic mineral in nature, and citric acid dissolves them well. The difference is contact time. For rust staining, you want the paste to sit for a full hour, possibly longer. You can also dampen a cloth with undiluted white distilled vinegar and drape it over the stained area before applying the citric acid paste on top. The vinegar extends the acidic contact and helps with iron in particular. Rinse thoroughly afterward because you want no acid residue left on the surface. If the guide in the description below is something you want to reference while you are actually cleaning, it lays out the full ratios and timing for different stain types in one easy place. Now I want to talk about something that most cleaning videos skip entirely, and that is the question of what to do about the surface underneath the stain. Once you have lifted the yellowing, you have an opportunity that most folks miss. A clean bathtub surface is more porous and more vulnerable than a protected one. This is the moment to apply a thin layer of protection that slows down future buildup significantly. In Japanese household tradition, surfaces are not just cleaned, they are maintained. The idea is that a little consistent attention prevents the kind of heavy buildup that requires serious effort to remove. For a bathtub, this translates into 2 practical habits. The first is the wipe down. After cleaning and after the tub is fully dry, apply a very thin coat of automotive paste wax. Yes, car wax, to the tub surface using a soft cloth. Buff it off gently. This sounds unusual, but car wax creates a hydrophobic layer that causes water to bead up and run off rather than sitting and evaporating on the surface. Minerals cannot bond as easily to a waxed surface. You only need to do this a few times a year. The second habit is the daily rinse. This is the simplest thing, and I have come to believe it is the single most effective prevention step. After every bath or shower, take 20 seconds to rinse the walls and floor of the tub with cool water. Cool water, not hot, because hot water can leave more mineral residue as it evaporates quickly. A handheld shower head makes this easier, but even a cup of cool water sloshed around the tub helps. The goal is to dilute and rinse away the soap and mineral-laden water before it can dry and bond to the surface. 20 seconds. That is genuinely all it takes. Now, I want to be straightforward with you about one situation where these methods alone may not be enough, and that is when water quality itself is the underlying problem. If you are on well water, or if your municipal water is particularly hard, you may find that even with regular cleaning, the yellowing comes back within a few weeks. In that case, you are essentially fighting the incoming water rather than managing surface buildup. The long-term solution in that situation is a water softener or a point-of-use filter on the shower head that reduces mineral content. Showerhead filters for hard water cost somewhere in the range of $20 to $50 depending on type and brand, and they reduce mineral load significantly. They are not a permanent substitute for cleaning, but they give your tub surface a fighting chance and extend the time between cleanings considerably. Brands like Aquasana and Culligan both make widely available inline shower filters at that price point, and independent testing has shown they can reduce calcium and magnesium concentration in the water stream by 30 to 50%, which makes a measurable difference in how quickly buildup returns. If a whole house water softener is something you are considering, those involve a larger investment and some installation. Worth talking to a plumber about your specific water quality before committing. But the showerhead filter is a practical, low-effort step almost anyone can add this week. There is also the question of what you are washing with, and I want to mention this because a lot of folks do not connect their soap choice to their bathtub condition. Bar soaps containing talc or synthetic binders leave more residue than simple, plain soaps. Heavily fragranced or dye-containing bath products can add to the staining, particularly over time on an already dull surface. I am not saying you need to change what you enjoy using, but if you are dealing with persistent yellowing, it is worth knowing that some products accelerate the problem more than others. Simpler is generally better for the tub surface, the same way it tends to be better for most things. If you are part of the Japanese homestead community and you find these kinds of practical, common-sense approaches useful, I would genuinely love for you to subscribe and join the conversation. There is a community of folks in the comments who share their own methods and results, and I read and respond there as often as I can. It is one of my favorite parts of doing this. Let me also say a word about tub resurfacing, because I know some folks watching this have older tubs where the original surface has degraded to the point where no cleaning method will restore it fully. Resurfacing, where a contractor applies a new bonded coating to the existing tub, runs anywhere from $300 to $600 depending on your area and the condition of the tub. It is significantly cheaper than full replacement, which can run many times that once you factor in plumbing and tile work. A professionally resurfaced tub, if maintained properly using the methods I have described, can look very good for many years. It is worth knowing that option exists if the surface is beyond what cleaning alone can address. But I want to say plainly, for the vast majority of yellow-stained bathtubs, especially those where the surface is still reasonably intact, the citric acid paste method, done with patience and followed by the simple prevention habits, will get you results you will be genuinely pleased with. You do not need a specialty product. You do not need to call someone. You need a few dollars worth of citric acid, a soft cloth, and the willingness to let chemistry do the work instead of trying to muscle it. I used to believe that the heavy-duty store products were doing something meaningfully different from what you could mix at home. I spent more than I care to admit on spray bottles with bold claims on the label. What changed my mind was actually seeing the results side by side. A stain that had resisted 3 different commercial products came up cleanly after one patient application of citric acid paste. The chemistry simply works better for mineral-based staining than the bleach-forward approach most commercial cleaners rely on. There is no dramatic story there, just a straightforward result. And the cost comparison is not subtle. A bag of citric acid that gives you well over a dozen applications costs less than most single-use commercial bathroom cleaners. The white distilled vinegar you probably already have in your kitchen. The dish soap is there too. The car wax, if you do not already have some, is a one-time purchase. The entire setup costs a few dollars at most, and it works better for this specific problem than products costing many times as much. That is the kind of math that matters. Before I close, let me leave you with the full guide linked in the description below. It covers the complete method with measurements, timing, and the maintenance schedule, all in one place you can refer back to whenever you need it. So let me pull it all together. Yellow bathtub staining is almost always mineral buildup, soap scum, or some combination of both. Bleach does not remove it. It masks it briefly and can degrade the surface over time. Abrasive scrubbing makes future staining worse. The solution that actually works is a citric acid paste, applied generously, left to sit long enough for the acid to do its job, then wiped away gently. For rust orange staining, extend the contact time and add white vinegar as a pre-treatment. After cleaning, protect the surface with a thin coat of car wax buffed smooth. After each use, rinse the tub with cool water for 20 seconds. That is the whole program. This week, pick up a bag of citric acid if you do not already have it, and give the method one try on your stained area. Give it the time it needs. Do not rush it. Over the next month, practice the daily rinse habit until it becomes automatic. By then, you should be seeing a real difference, not just in how the tub looks, but in how easy it stays clean. There is very little commercial incentive for anyone to tell you that a few dollars of citric acid from the grocery store will outperform a shelf full of bright labeled cleaning products. But that is what the chemistry says, and in my experience, that is what the results show. Knowing that is worth something. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever found a simple, low-cost cleaning method that worked better than anything you had paid a lot of money for? Share what you discovered. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. Coming up next, we are going to talk about how to remove hard water stains from glass shower doors. Same philosophy, similar methods, and a couple of details specific to glass that make a real difference. I think you will find it useful. If this kind of straightforward, no-nonsense approach to home care is something you want more of, please subscribe. It genuinely means a lot, and it helps this channel keep going. I will see you in the next one.